By week 3, that blastocyst that implanted in the uterus has developed into an embryonic disc. So it has become the embryoblast, not the trophoblast, but the embryoblast has become this flattened disc. And the cells of the embryoblast have split into 3 types. And these 3 types of cells form layers. And you can see they're color-coded for us here. The top layer in blue is the ectoderm. The middle layer in pink is mesoderm. And the bottom layer in yellow is endoderm. Then this disc folds. So in week 4, this flat disc of 3 different types of cells folds, and it starts to take on a 3-dimensional shape. So we have 2 types of folding. This one is caudocephalo or cephalocaudal folding. And the other one is transverse folding. I'm going to use this paper to demonstrate how embryonic folding works. You have 2 types of folding, cephalocaudal and transverse. Ceph means head and caudal means tail. So in cephalocaudal, each end folds up like this toward the middle. And that is how you get the head and the butt. Transverse folding happens along the long axis. So in transverse folding, each side comes together and meets in the middle. Notice I have an R and an L on here. That's for right and left. That's how you get your right and left sides. And this little spot under your nose, the philtrum, that's the seam where your right and left sides met in the middle there. So as you can see, those folds give it the head, the butt, the right, and the left. And at the end of 4 weeks, this is what an embryo looks like. So this is an embryo at 4 weeks after it has folded. And when it comes to that transverse folding, it doesn't always work out perfectly. So remember I said the philtrum, that seam that's under your nose, is from that transverse folding where your right and left meet up. So a cleft palate and a cleft lip is when the transverse folding doesn't fuse together right. And this needs to be surgically repaired. Babies who have this have a hard time swallowing because your palate, the roof of your mouth, it's very important. It separates your mouth from your nose. This allows you to breathe and chew at the same time. Now, babies aren't chewing. But they do drink their milk, and they have to be able to breathe while doing so. And if there is a hole in the palate, that interferes with their ability to breathe and drink their milk. So then once that embryo is at this 4-week stage right here, now it's ready to start developing its organ systems. So the next thing will be to develop organ systems. So those 3 layers of cells are going to make different organ systems. So this picture is showing you what comes from each of the layers. So again, the blue is our ectoderm. And you can see it's going to form the nervous system. You've got the brain, the nerves there. The pink, remember, was the mesoderm. And you can see it forms the muscles, the bones, the heart. The yellow is our endoderm. And this forms the digestive system, the respiratory system. Notice that these structures are tubes. Your digestive system is a tube that goes from mouth to anus. So that comes from the endoderm. So the next 4 weeks are spent developing those organ systems. And then this is what the embryo looks like at the end of 8 weeks. At this point, all organ systems are formed. And this is the end of embryonic development. So embryonic development is about making the organ systems. And once they're made, embryonic development is complete. So the rest of the pregnancy will be fetal development. So fetal development is going to be about getting bigger, and the organ systems begin to function. So at 8 weeks, the organ systems are there, but they're not functioning yet. That comes along in fetal development.